Hi everybody, my name is Irina and welcome to episode 3 of Stories with the Shepherdess. So, this section of Flock Talk is going to be a little bit lacking compared to the upcoming months. That's because we are at the end few weeks of the waiting game for our ewes to start lambing. So based off of how all of the girls looked this morning, it does seem as though maybe Dot and Stella, Dot is our Shetland ewe and Stella is our Teeswater ewe, it does look as though they will probably be lambing first. Now, we never know. So that is what we're assuming based off of the size of their udder and watching how their stomach has developed. But we're so very excited. It does look like we have 5 confirmed pregnancies with a 1 possibility. It seems as though Dot will definitely lamb. She's a Shetland ewe and she was bred to Cypress, our Shetland ram. Stella will lamb and she was bred to Skater Boy, our Teeswater. Cherry Blossom will lamb, and she had jumped in with Dot and Cypress's breeding pen, so she's a long wool and she will actually have a Schlester cross, a cross between a Shetland and a Leicester, so that's going to be super cute. I'm excited to see the fleece on that. We will also have Orla lambing, and she will have a North American Wensleydale because she was bred to our Wensley ram Philip. And who's the 5th? Char girl. I'm sorry. Early in the morning, lack of coffee. Char girl will be lambing as well, so she is our 5th. Char is a North American Wensleydale that was born on our farm in March of 2012, March 14th. She was an LAI baby, which means that her sire was over in England, and we imported the semen and laparoscopic artificially inseminated the mother, and so Char was born. So her father is Midnight. UK Midnight, and her mum was Gemma, one of our foundation ewes. So Char will be giving birth to a long wool cross or crosses. We bred her to Fred just to keep her in good condition because Orla and her are related closely, so we didn't want something that was too close, and she's such a good mum, so we're doing Freddie, and Char will make the most beautiful long wool cross or crosses because Fred has been prolific in having twins and trips, throwing twins and triplets. He's our ram to end all ages. He is like the epitome of what you want a ram to be, if you're going to catch my drift for breeding stock. So Flock Talk this time around is just like really relaxed. I don't really have anything to report majorly. We are prepping for Maryland sheep and wool, which is going to be crazy because we have our flock yarn arriving like April 20th, and I've got that little bit of time to wash, reskein, and label everything and hopefully get it out on the shelves. So I know that in my prior episode I had mentioned that we were going to do like kind of like a small release for like a certain, for like a certain batch. I don't know if that's possible anymore. I'm going to see if I can like bust my butt and get it done. This semester I should say, my university studies are a little bit more relaxed than in prior years. I'm only part-time now. So I'll have some extra time to focus on Maryland, which is going to be awesome. So I just finished up my 2nd exam for my accounting class, which gives me a whole like 3 or 4 weeks so that I can do Maryland sheep and wool prep before I have to worry about my final. So I'm very, very excited. So yeah, Flock Talk. So flock yarn on its way. We're so excited to see this batch. When I got the call from the mill, I was just like, yes. So we've got the flock yarn that's coming. We've got babies that are going to be popping out anytime soon. It's just going to be a whirlwind few months. Yeah, it's going to be awesome though. So stay tuned. If there's anything that you want me to specifically chat about our farm and about our flock, please leave a comment in the section below because I would love feedback on what you think I should talk about. This podcast is for you, our viewers, to get an inside look on the farm life, the shop life, everything. So leave a comment below. I want to hear your opinions. I would like to give you content that you enjoy and that you can relate to or that you want to learn how to relate to. So yeah, please leave a comment. I'm so excited to hear what you all have to say. So that's going to be it for Flock Talk. I know it's incredibly short. I apologize. But hopefully we'll have cute lammy photos in the next Stories with the Shepherdess episode, so it'll make up for it. So Next section is what's on my needles. I have a ton of stuff on my needles right now because I am getting ready for Maryland Sheep and Wool, and I'm knitting because I want to have samples that all of you want to knit with our yarn. This one that I'm wearing is my Staithes shawl. I designed this at the end of 2016. This one is well loved, so please don't look, it hasn't been properly blocked in ages. I designed this at the end of 2016 for the Knitter's Day Out show. It's just a very basic triangle shaped shawl with some seed stitch and then what I like to call my textured border at the bottom. So that is lovely, and that's knit out of 2 skeins of our medley. You could also easily knit it out of our flock yarn as well, but it's a good size, I think. Gotta tuck that under here. It's a good size. It's a nice pattern to knit. It's practically mindless if you've already knit triangle-based shawls, but yeah, so that's a good one. So that's not really what's on my needles, but I just figured that I would point out what I wear. But what is on my needles, I finished the front of my Gretna jumper. I'm very, very excited. Look how pretty that is. It's not blocked, so don't look too hard. Although I was knitting, going away, right? And I cast off and I laid it out, and my eye was immediately drawn to a mistake in the cable. And one of our test knitters, Liz from Just One End podcast, she did the same thing. And so I had already bound off, and I was just like, you know what? I think I'm going to go do sweater surgery, but I'm going to just work on the arms and the back, and then when I'm getting ready to seam, I'll unknit and I will fix it, because one of these things is not like the other. As you can see, I've really mucked up the cable, but based off of where this is, because the mistake is here, yeah, you can see it. Because the mistake is there, I am going to have to like unknit this whole front and then drop down, because you've bound off these stitches. It's not just like a one single bind off, you bind off in steps. It's okay though, because honestly, the front did not take me that long. It was only a few weeks of really just relaxed knitting. So I am, I have faith that I will be able to quickly finish this. The tubular cast on was like the coolest thing that I have ever done. It does look really clean and professional. I'm so glad that I chose that option instead of just doing my favorite German twisted cast on. There's still time to join our wonderful knit along. There's prizes. You get a beautiful sweater at the end. You get to use wonderful yarn if I'm not partial. And you can, you also get 10% off your order of Yorkshire Medley for the sweater. So if now is, if now's the time you decide that you want to use Yorkshire Medley, it's the time to do it, because the 10% only lasts a few weeks longer. I think I'm having it cut off at about the middle of our knit along time. Yeah, so I'm really, really pleased with our Gretna jumper. Very excited. It's pretty. I'm glad I went with the cream. I think it's just really classic. It will, it's gonna shine. I'm really excited to get this done. It's going so fast. I've actually started a few other things because I'm afraid that I'll get it done too quickly. So let me show you my next work in progress. My next work in progress is a test knit for Annie Rowden of By Annie Claire. This is her textured shawl, yet to be named. So I am knitting it out of, you guessed it, Yorkshire Medley. It's kind of my go-to yarn. It's such a lovely pattern. It's really dense. It's designed for size 6, but based off of her gauge, I am knitting on size 3 needles. It is going surprisingly fast though. So I am doing the small size, and I believe her finished measurements for that is 60 inches by 18 and a half. So it's going to be a decent sized shawl when all is said and done, but it's really, really beautiful. The wrong side is almost as pretty as the right side as well. So I'm excited to get this blocked and have it hang up. It's just really pretty. So I'm knitting it out of the Ilkley Heather colorway. I've never worked with the purple before. My friend Jessica, she knit her lilac from our Lila knit along last year out of the Ilkley Heather, and it was so pretty, and I was just waiting for an excuse to cast it on. And we actually don't have a sample in the Ilkley Heather, so I was like, now is the time. So that is what I'm working on. I have a very set schedule because the test knit has to be done by May 12th, but I want it done before that so that I have the opportunity to block it and give a quick preview at Maryland and say, hey, like, watch for this pattern release. So I'm expected to have it done in like the next week, which is quite feasible. I'm only having myself do like 5 pattern repeats a day, and I am growing right now, and then I will shrink, so it's going to go even faster, so I might get it done even sooner. So that's my next work in progress, and I've just got 2 other works in progresses to show you. My first one is the herringbone hat, and I am knitting it out of Brooklyn Tweed Arbor. Oh wow, that does look splendid on the screen. I'm glad, because sometimes you can't really envision it. Anyways, this is the herringbone hat. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I will link in my show notes to the pattern. This was really fun. I'm having a lot of fun knitting it. It's going very fast. The arbor is so squishy. I've never worked with Targhee directly. It's really nice. I've always told people that arbor is really lovely, and now that I'm actually knitting with it instead of just seeing finished garments, it's really, really great. So this is a fun, quick pattern. Like I said, free on Ravelry. It was part of a class that I had taught earlier in the month. So that's a lot of fun, and it's a great beginner stranded colorwork pattern as well, and that was like one of the biggest things. So very fun, very fast. I'm flying through it, so once again, like the Gretna Jumper, I'm kind of just like taking my time with it because it's not like it needs to be done immediately. But yeah, it's good. So that's my second to last one. And then my last work in progress is this little brioche hat. So I taught an intro to brioche class the same day I taught the stranded colorwork, and we're talking about color dominance and stuff. And at first I was like, ooh, I really like the white on the outside, and then I flipped it to the inside, and I'm just like, ooh, look at that. I really, really like the wrong side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish this as is with it like the white on the outside, and then I'm going to just flip it inside out when I'm done. So yeah, this was a lot of fun. Brioche is a ton of fun, and I had 8 very eager students ready to learn the next steps of brioche because they felt, so good about the class. So that was a ton of fun. The white is leftover Yorkshire Medley. I know, this is becoming repetitive. I'm sorry. The white is leftover Yorkshire Medley, and then the multicolor is some old handspun from 2010. We are going on 8 years of that, so I thought it would just be really nice. So this is just a modified basic brioche hat, and I'm doing it like baby child size just because I needed something quick to cast on to like actually show them during class how to work the brioche stitches and use it as a sample. So this is a lot of fun though. I'm excited to keep knitting on this. It looks great. And so it was also nice because we could talk about the size differences of the yarns and how it doesn't necessarily affect the brioche. Like the Yorkshire Medley is a DK weight. This handspun is a lace fingering weight. So it's kind of nice. And I think that's why the wrong side looks so much nicer, because it is much thinner. So then your back tuck stitches, the white Yorkshire Medley can kind of shine through without having to stretch it too much. So that's my last work in progress. So you can see that I've got quite a few things going on. So my finished objects are going to be a little bit sparse, but that's okay. So for my finished objects, I've just got 2 things to show you. One you had already seen in my episode 2 of Stories of the Shepherdess, and this one is new. This is a modified, just basic brioche cowl. This was my sample for my class. I knit it out of Quince Co owl, which we have at the shop, and once again, this was one yarn that I was always telling people, this is like the nicest stuff. You need to work with it, but I had never worked with it myself. This is a lot softer than I had imagined it being. Owl is a 50-50 wool alpaca blend, and I knit this on a size 7. The color on top is Tawny, and the color on the inside, the blue, is Huckleberry. So these are both 2 really great colors from Quince. I had initially started it, and I knew that I wanted it to not be like in your face. But as I was knitting, and for you people that have knit way more brioche, you'll probably know that the first few rows are kind of like hit or miss. You think sometimes it looks nice, sometimes it doesn't. And I was working along and I was like, I should have had Huckleberry as my color that sat on top. But then I kept going, I persevered, and honestly, if Huckleberry was sitting on the top, I feel like it'd be a bit too in your face. I much prefer the Tawny. I think it's just a little bit, softer. That was a lot of fun. And once again, fabulous class, really great yarn. I really enjoy the owl. My second finished object is going to be the neckline on my sea pullover by Carrie Hoge. Finally finished it. So it's really, really nice. I'm going to have to wash it again because it's amazing. I did 2 washes. I did the initial blocking wash on the main body, and then I washed it again because I'd been wearing it without the neckline, as you all had known. And now, like, the yarn on the body of the sweater is just so much softer. And honestly, last night at the farm, Dot jumped on me and knocked me over. She's a very persistent little ewe, so I have to wash it anyways, which is fine. At the end, I'm a person that can't really modify patterns. I have a hard time with it. Not because I don't know how to do it, just because I liked the look of the pattern to begin with, so why would I modify it? So I did end up doing the little garter band, and then I did about 2 inches of ribbing, and it looks really nice. I'm glad I did it, and I can see how it would look even nicer if I had gone up the whole, like, 4.5 inches, but that Wendy Guernsey 5-ply is just so rustic. I could not have been able to do that. It would have just been much too rough on my skin. So my sea pullover is finished, and my mom doesn't laugh at me when I come out wearing it because it actually has a neckline and it's not falling off my shoulders. So that is a lot of fun. I'm glad I got that done. So those are my finished objects for this little episode. So for shop happenings, we've got a lot going on this month. In addition to Maryland Sheep and Wool, April 20th is like a huge day for us. Do you know what April 20th is? So, April 20th, I will tell you because I can't hear your responses, can I? April 20th is the release of the Brooklyn Tweed Small Batch Sustainable USA 100% made and sourced single farm Ranch 1 yarn. Ranch 1? What is that? I'll tell you. It is a beautiful worsted weight, 100% American Rambouillet from a single ranch, and then, best part is, it's naturally dyed in Lancaster County, right down the road by our buddies at Green Matters Natural Dye Company. Winona, one of the co-owners, I believe is her title, she was a student at Parsons in New York City, but she grew up in New Holland, I believe, and so she would breeze in and out of the shop during her school holidays. So she came back to Lancaster, established this natural dye company, and they're doing so many awesome things. So they were the dyers for the Ranch 1 yarn by Brooklyn Tweed. So what do I mean when I say small batch? I mean so small batch that we had waited 24 hours to put in our order from the initial release, and they were already sold out of colors. Incredibly small batch. So what that means is we got 5 skeins of 7 colors, and that's all that there will be ever. So we are holding a special event so that everybody's got a fair chance. The official release date is April 20th. We will be releasing Ranch 1 at our shop April 20th, which is a Friday, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So we are going to be having extended hours. We are staying open 2 hours later past our original time, and we are releasing Ranch 1 so that people will have a fair chance getting here from work to grab what they want. The colors are beautiful. I can't tell you much more, but just mark your calendars. If you live in the Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey area, Friday, April 20th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Grab it before it's gone because this yarn is going to be a whirlwind sort of thing. It's super, super small batch, so you're going to need to grab it. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. In addition, making issue number 5, oh my gosh, 5, color is going to be coming out. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well. That we'll have on the shelves throughout the day. So while you're here grabbing your Ranch 1 yarn, you can also pick up your copy of Making. Making, once again, beautiful publication by Carrie Hoge, and we are so excited to see what this issue has in store. So those are some shop happenings. Jerry and I did have a wonderful time. We just want to thank all of the participants at the Fabulous Fibers knitting workshop up in Schuylkill Haven, Pennsylvania. We had such a great time. We met so many great people. We hope that we educated all of you on the importance of long wools and how to use their fiber, and everybody went away with something that they're going to knit something fabulous out of. So it was a lot of fun. Thank you again to Lorraine and her sister for organizing the event, and we hope to see you all very soon. If you don't know about the Schuylkill Haven Art Center, it is fabulous. If you live anywhere close to there, it was about an hour and a half drive for us, but if you live anywhere close to there, you should definitely consider checking it out. I'll put a link to the Schuylkill Haven Art Center in the show notes below. It was awesome. Please go visit it. It was like the most beautiful building I have ever been in. It was really fabulous. It was a great time. We had so much fun. So thank you again for inviting us and for listening to us. So thank you so much for listening to me ramble on episode 3 of Stories with the Shepherdess. I once again appreciate your viewership, and I hope to see you all at Maryland Sheep and Wool. Please find us in Barn 5, booth 18. We will be selling our long wool yarns and fiber from our flock, as well as some hand-dyed Wensleydale roving, and of course our ever favorite Chowku needles. And if you have any comments, please post them below. Please tell me what you want to hear in our Flock Talk section. I'm here to speak to you, so let me know what you're interested in, and thanks so much. Happy knitting, happy crafting, and I will see you next time. Hey everyone, thanks so much for following along with our video podcast Stories with the Shepherdess. If you would like to stay updated, you can follow us on Instagram at Flying Fibers, or you can follow either of our Facebooks, Flying Fibers for our yarn shop in Landisville, Pennsylvania, or Flying Fibers Flock to keep updated with happenings on the farm. Thanks so much!